All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CLT Life with Jimmy and Walls. I'm your host, Jimmy G, along with the other hosts.
Walls, what's up?
How's it going? So we got a lot to talk about today, especially when it comes to Carolina Panthers football. Following up on the game that we saw this past week against the Atlanta Falcons. So Carolina had a chance to actually move into first place in the NFC South, which is unfathomable.
Right, it would have been a miraculous turnaround.
And they almost pulled it off.
Yeah, almost. And it was definitely a winnable game, and you can't blame the offense this week. So I'll take that as a small win.
I mean, overall, watching that game, it felt like watching the Panthers game from a few years ago. It did not feel like it didn't feel like it's felt all year long. You know, when the offense was three and out. We have for the first time, I think we have a truly functioning offense.
Hey, somebody texted me and said they looked like a football team, and I thought that's pretty accurate.
Right.
You know, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
They played good ball on both. Well, they played pretty good ball on both sides of the ball. They forced turnovers, could move the ball in the air, definitely on the ground. You know, all the things you ask for out of your football team as a fan.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, so PJ Walker's out the start quarterback. So we lost. Baker Mayfield got injured earlier this year.
Like he is now.
He is now, yeah. I'm saying Baker Mayfield was injured early in the year.
Right.
Sam Darnold's going to be coming back pretty soon now too, but it seems like PJ Walker's basically taken this job and grabbed it.
Well, he's played better than either of those two guys has. Maybe save for Sam Darnold at the beginning of last season. He's played better than either of those guys has in the last 2 years. So, you know, the job is his for now. I don't see how you couldn't. I think the locker room would be
revolt.
Would revolt if you try to say, you know, he's not a quarterback. Look at DJ Moore's game.
Yeah.
6 receptions, 152 yards.
Yeah. For the first time, yeah.
I mean, what can you say? The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, so let's break the game down a little bit. So first off, PJ threw for a career high 317 yards, had one touchdown and a pick. Like you just said, 62 yards came on the last play of regulation when he found DJ Moore just straight down the middle, just a straight go route right down the field.
And the ball was a perfect ball.
That was a perfect ball, yeah.
Over the shoulder, perfectly. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not a pass you expect to complete.
Right.
But it was beautiful to see.
And that's how the game at 34.
And that's how the game at 34.
And DJ, for a minute, was the hero of the game.
And then he turned to the GOAT.
And they turned to the GOAT.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way, yeah.
Not the greatest of all time.
So after scoring, he decided to take his helmet off.
Which is a no-no.
Yeah, which is a no-no in the NFL. You can do all the celebrations, but you can't take your helmet off. Yeah. I mean, I get it. He was excited. He was like, look at me. This is like a coming out moment for the year. I'm back. But at the same time,
it cost the team.
It did.
I mean, it cost the team yardage on an extra point, which has already been moved back.
Yeah, so the old school extra point was a chip shot. It was like a 17-yard field goal.
And then they moved it back.
So it's 33. So they got pushed.
A 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, so basically he was kicking Eddie Pinheiro was kicking a 48-yard field goal.
50-yard extra point.
Yeah. So, but she's been pretty solid all year. You still kind of expect him to make it. When he missed, kind of hurt. It was a gut punch. And then Carolina got a second chance in overtime. C.J. Henderson had an interception, and he ran back about 50 yards to about the 25-yard line.
Right. And at
that point, he thought the game was over.
Exactly.
He's just conservative, and you just run the ball a few times and line up for a short field goal, which is the equivalent of a normal extra point.
Right.
And then he hooked it. He shanked it.
And I feel bad for the players. I feel bad for Coach Wilkes because, that's a loss on his record, and he's put those guys in position to win, or at least be really competitive each week, since taking over from Matt Rule. And that's a hard thing to do, to take over the middle of the season, a team that everybody kind of feels like is going nowhere, trade the best player, but you give guys a chance to put them in a position to win, you and your coaching staff. And then in this scenario, DJ Moore's penalty was a lapse of judgment, and Pinheiro missing, a couple kicks.
Yeah.
Just poor execution, and You know, and so I feel bad for everybody involved, but it is encouraging at least to know that you got a good game plan, and guys are executing, and we look like a football team.
So how would you grade Steve Wilks so far through 3 games? He's 1-2.
Yeah.
First game was against the 49ers. Short week, gets the job, goes out to San Francisco, tough environment. They lose that one. Second week, they beat the Buccaneers 21-3, and then this week they go down to Atlanta with a chance for first place in the NFC South. And really, in my mind, my eyes saw that the Carolina Panthers overall outplayed the Falcons. We were hurt by a former Panther. Damiere Byrd had a big game. He had a big touchdown. They gave them towards the end of the fourth quarter. They gave them the lead before we came back and tied it up.
Yeah.
So back to that question, how would you grade Wilks' performance so far?
With the 1-2 record, it's hard to give somebody an A, and which is why I say I feel worse for him than anybody probably, because his what he's done to make this look like a legitimate team again is probably worthy of an A. You know, he's a 1-2, so it's probably B plus.
A B, B plus.
High B, but he's doing all the right things. He's instilling confidence in PJ. Whatever he and McAdoo, whatever they decided, as far as the game plan, it seems like guys are settling in. Defensively, they're forcing turnovers, which we had such a hard time doing before. And, it's camaraderie seems to be there. Just as a unit, we look like a football team that's sort of having fun again.
Right.
And that's important because it's a game.
Yeah, well, speaking of having fun, the Panthers are making watching football on Sundays fun again.
Right, yeah.
So it was starting to get to the point where you almost didn't even want to watch a game on Sunday. Yeah. Find something else to do. Go to the pumpkin patch.
Go to the pumpkin patch. Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a good time. And I guess if you're David Tepper, you got to think this is a better product. If you're looking at it from that perspective, it's a better product than it was. But not much has changed personnel-wise.
Well, we can't get rid of Christian McCaffrey.
Right. But so you subtract a couple of offensive players for different reasons, and you still got the same offensive coordinator.
Right.
And maybe, I was trying to explain to my wife, maybe not that, because obviously Christian McCaffrey is a great player and had a great game yesterday for San Francisco.
Yeah.
But maybe in our situation, we were trying to –
too predictable.
We were very predictable, and we were always trying to find ways to get him the ball.
Right.
Maybe to the point of forcing the issue. And now we have a more balanced game plan, and when guys just go out and do their job, if you get 4 or 5 yards on first down and you make the game a little bit more manageable, you can have some more sustained drives. And I'll say this for PJ, at the end of the game yesterday, they were in some third and long situations where he came through and delivered passes on the money to keep the drive alive and move the chains and eventually lead us to points. So, it's sort of an amalgamation of all these factors that are leading to a more cohesive unit and just a better overall team. And it's hard to imagine that it will work out that way.
Well, it seems like a lot of the receivers are getting more open as well. I mean, he's throwing some good balls, and early on he actually missed on a few.
Yeah,
he just missed one. Missed on one to Terrace Marshall. Just missed on another big one to DJ Moore.
Right.
If he completes those, his final numbers are probably closer to 400 yards.
And maybe the game's not as close.
Right. Maybe he doesn't need that Hail Mary.
The one to DJ was a touchdown.
Oh yeah, He had 2 that he missed to DJ. One early on. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
That was a touchdown. I mean, if he gets DJ in stride,
the first deep ball.
That deep ball is a touchdown, and it changes the complexion of the game. And so, I don't know. PJ's definitely settled in. And I think Baker had a chance to settle in, and Sam Darnold had opportunities, and he was sort of last year, I guess he was injured a little bit and got out of rhythm there too. But I mean, PJ just looks more comfortable than we've seen a Carolina quarterback in at least the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And maybe
I think he looks better than since before Teddy Bridgewater.
Yes.
I feel like yesterday's game, maybe this is hyperbole, but I feel like yesterday's game was the most competent quarterback we played since good camp.
Since good Cam. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if that's saying a lot, but it is what it is, and that I think that's probably a true statement.
Yeah. All right, so let's shift just a little bit. We might come back to the Panthers before the game is over. I want to talk about our other sports team, the Hornets. Before we get into that, right, I want to do the shameless promo minute. So,
go for it.
All right, so yeah, I'll go first. So shameless promo. I'm a real estate agent with J Park Carolina Living, and what should I talk about real estate? Well, you see, I was really well prepared,
right? Prepared for that. Well, so I was just talking to a friend who may be moving from within the state, from the Winston-Salem area, to come work at Charlotte Douglas Airport.
Okay. I know a realtor could help him out.
Right. And so I definitely know a realtor that can help him out. But we're talking about where he should be and school systems and so forth, because he might not live in Charlotte proper because he thinks it may be a little expensive.
Right.
And so I was saying, you go south and west, probably your best bet. So Fort Mill, he's not opposed to living in South Carolina. And then coming around to the west, Steel Creek, Belmont, Gastonia, even out toward Kings Mountain and so forth. We were just talking about where he might get the best bang for his buck, and where there's a decent school system. So, maybe that'll give you some ideas as far as what you can tell them.
Yeah, so in Union County, if you're staying on that south and west side as well, Union County is a really good market. And overall, a little bit less expensive. So one thing with you talk about prices of homes, and prices of homes have gone up so much in the past 2.5 years. We're finally getting to a point where they've leveled out, and we're actually starting to see more price reduction. So I was looking on MLS this morning to see. I look at a stat. I have a list of all the homes that are in my search area that are new to market, that have done price reductions, what's sold, what's gone under contract. In the last 7 days, there are about twice as many homes that have price reductions versus new listings are coming soon.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That signals a shift in the market for sure.
Yeah, home values are going to start going down a little bit. I mean, if anybody who's been in a house for a while, if you just gain 40% equity in your home over the past 2 years, and in the next year or two you lose 5, 10, 12%, you're still up overall in your investment.
Still winning.
And the expectation is, we might have a slight correction, but then home values will start going back up again. So maybe if you bought a house just in the last year, you're going to want to stay in it for a few years. And if you're buying a house right now, even, it's, unless you can get a really good deal, then you have to cash buy it. It might not be the best time to buy for fix and flips right now.
How about this? What about first-time home buyers and programs? What have you seen with people who are just entering the home buying market? Are there any programs or anything that are helpful that can help them get in, less money down?
Yeah, so with first-time home buyers, for instance, lots of times they'll qualify for an FHA first-time home buyer loan, and even with conventional loans, and with lenders with mortgages, there's different programs that different lenders offer. So it always just comes down to what is your personal situation. Sometimes there will be programs out there that might be county specific, where there's some assistance with the down payment program. If you're a veteran, a lot of veterans don't know this, but with the VA loan, there's actually a 0% down option that they can have as well. So, and what we're seeing a lot of people, interest rates are hovering right now around 7%, which is historically not crazy high, but for the past recent history, it is pretty high. And what we're seeing is a lot of lenders are getting creative in some of the things that they're offering. So there's one popular product that we're seeing a lot right now. It's called the 2-1 buy down. So let's say you're quoted at a 7% interest rate. Well, with the 2-1 buy down, the seller can actually pay part of your closing costs to help you buy it down. So instead of the seller reducing the asking price on their home, they could pay closing costs. The first year it's going to buy your rate down to 5% interest rate versus 7%. Awesome. Year 2 it goes to 6%. Then year 3 it's back to 7%. But the idea is that
And then it's fixed at 7%.
Yeah, that's a 30-year fixed home. But the idea is that interest rates should be coming back down before then, so you can refinance. Yeah. So if you come in, you're at a 5, and then let's say, because a lot of the economists are saying that we're probably pretty close to the peak. They don't expect it to go much higher than 7%. And hopefully that's the case. And then, as rates start moving back down, let's say they get back down to 5% or even lower, then a homeowner can lock in and get in at that lower rate. So, and then there's I got lenders that I work with as well that have off market products that are fixed rates that start out, 2 points lower than what you're seeing on the open market. So
you gotta buy it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta pay those points.
So no. Actually, it's not. It's without points. Yeah, it's without points. Yeah. So it's just these off market lenders are able to get a little more creative, I guess. They got a little more leeway, more flexibility.
So I guess that's a good point. Not everybody has to charge 7%. People can charge you whatever percentage they want. Yeah, so that makes sense. So you just got to do your research.
Got to do your research. So the biggest thing, first-time home buyer, any home buyer really, the first thing we need to do is have a consultation. So in person, on Zoom, however we want to do it, phone call. First thing I always do is explain the process. I walk through the entire process of buying or selling a home. And if you're in North or South Carolina, it's 2 different contracts, so the process is different. So first thing, explain that off the bat so you have an understanding of what you're getting yourself into. Step number 2 is getting pre-approved for a loan. So before we can start shopping, we need to know if you're buying, we need to know what you can afford. And the lender is going to be able to tell you that based on your current debt to income ratio, your credit score, how much you earn, how much you have to put down. So all that stuff is factored in. So you do the home buyer consultation first, then I'll introduce you to a lender if you're not already working with one. Get that pre-approval letter. That informs everything. At that point, we can decide, okay, this is the area that you should be in. So like your friend that's moving here trying to decide what area of town that he wants to be in. Right now we can start looking at the different areas. In terms of school, that's something interesting to bring up too, because as realtors, we're actually ethically not allowed to talk about schools as far as like one school being better than another. What we do is we provide information, access to information, like the Union County School District or CMS or Fort Mill, public schools. So we can get information on the specific schools. There's websites like greatschools.org that you can go to, that you can get all that information on schools, and then you can make that decision. And once we've identified those areas, then what I can do as part of my search is help you find a house in those areas, and then help you, hopefully negotiate a good program or a good deal. Because now we can negotiate for buyers again. We can do that for a little while.
Right. Now there's some wiggle room.
Yeah. There's a lot more room to be able to negotiate.
That's impressive.
Get some deals now. So,
well done.
All right. Well, thank you for that shameless promotion.
Sure.
Minute that turned into a few minutes, but
it's all good.
Yeah,
my promotion.
Yeah, your promotion.
I've got an album dropping November 11th. These are the good days. It's been a long time coming. But it's finally ready to hit people's ears. So, a couple Fridays from now. Album's coming out. I'm excited. And
are you doing a launch party or concert or anything? Or?
I was trying to. It didn't work out in terms of venue. Venues are back up and running, and so you just need a lot of lead time.
Right.
So it just didn't quite work out like I wanted it to, but I will. So I let everybody know about the release party, or even if it's not a release party, technically. Live shows is ready to go. I let everybody know.
All right, so these are the good days. Can they buy a digital copy or?
iTunes, you can buy it on iTunes. Walls, these are the good days. It'll be there on November 11th. You can stream it through Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon. The songs themselves will be available on social media add them to videos and photos and whatnot.
We'll get it on the CLTlife.com as well.
Yeah, we'll put it on CLTlife.com. It'll be on Bandcamp. At least we can put links.
Well, yeah, it's on the it's the CLTlife, THECLTLIFE.com. We'll put a link in there so everybody can access your music. We have a new link on there as well with an order form for the CLT Life gear and apparel. So we did a pop-up market actually here at Middle James, which, by the way, we're at Middle James Brewing today. If we didn't give them a shout out, located in Pineville, South Carolina. Great food, right? 60-cent wings. Is it 70? How much are the wings today? 60-cent wings on Monday.
10 wings for $6 on Monday. So that's
a good deal.
Can't ever beat that.
Did I just say South Carolina? Yeah, Pineville, North Carolina.
I think he's still asleep.
Yeah.
He's missing some sleep this
week. Yeah, we got a sick toddler at home, so I blame it on him.
I always do.
Yeah. All right, we got a few more minutes left in the show. We said we were going to talk about the Hornets a little bit, so they're off to a surprisingly good start so far, 3-3 in their first 6 games.
Without LaMelo Ball.
Without LaMelo, without Terry for a lot of it.
Terry for the last maybe 4 games?
I think they're better. 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Without Miles Bridges, indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb Martin hasn't been playing either.
Caleb Martin hasn't been out. So
Dennis Smith has been
a revelation.
Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
He saved his career.
Yeah.
It's safe to say he probably could, because he's on a 1-year deal with us, and we were probably the last team.
Yeah, I remember he was a lottery pick out of NC State.
Lottery pick.
He's from
North Carolina kid, Fayetteville. Yeah. Fayetteville guy.
He's had several games where he's had like 12 assists, 9 assists, 8 assists.
He's averaging. I just looked. He's averaging over 6 assists a game.
Okay.
He leads the team in assists.
Scoring wise, he's had several double-digit scoring games.
Yeah, I mean he's playing like a lead guard, and even when LaMelo gets back, he's still going to be in the rotation. Obviously, he can definitely lead the second unit, and he's sort of a steadying force. He's a good ball handler. He can get to the rim.
Plays good defense too.
I mean, great defense. He's very uber athletic.
Yeah.
He's one of those guards that's athletic in the ilk of Derrick Rose, Westbrook. He may not be quite as big as those guys, but he's not small, and he's super athletic. So, I love the addition of Dennis Smith. And it just goes to show, we beat the Warriors on Saturday night. Defending champs. They're 0-3 on the road, but still they're the defending champs. They got the best player in the world, I think, Steph Curry. And Jordan Poole's been playing like an all-star for a year and a half now, I guess.
Well, the first game they blew out the Spurs, and everybody was writing that game off. But Spurs are looking really good.
Spurs have been 5-1 since losing the opener, I think they said. Yeah, to us. And they also beat Atlanta, who's a playoff team, and who got Trae Young and Collins and Clint Capella and DeJounte Murray now. So anyway, the Hornets are playing really good basketball. There have been some surprises. Nick Richards is playing really well.
Yeah.
Even after we went and drafted Mark Williams, who's not a bad player, but he's third on the depth chart at center. So yeah, Nick Richards is maybe he took it personally that we drafted a center. And he's just been playing great ball. Oubre's been solid for us. Gordon Hayward's leading us in scoring at 20 points a game. And he's available right now, which is always the biggest thing.
Please stay healthy.
Yeah, please stay healthy. So you get LaMelo back, Terry back, Martin, and you just sort of, you see if you can keep up the positive vibes and keep continuing to play like a team. I mean, it's weird. There's a lot of parity in the league, I'd say right now. It feels like a lot of parity.
And it's early. It's early in the league. It's early in the season too.
It's early. But and what I will say that I've noticed is the generational transition is here. Because obviously LeBron's in his 20th season, it's almost a wrap for his career.
The Lakers are 0-5.
Well, they just won last night. Yeah, they beat Denver. And so, but the generational transition is here. There's a lot of good young talent in the league, and guys like Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell and Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker. These guys. They're different ages sort of respectively, but they represent the next generation, or shall I even say the current generation.
Yeah, Booker
superstar.
Yeah, I just saw a stat yesterday. Booker became the 6th fastest under 26 to reach 12,000 points.
Right. Yeah.
Behind LeBron, KD. I can't think of the other guys. It's all all-stars and like Hall of Fame type players. Luka, I was texting you the other day. I was watching the first quarter of a Dallas Mavericks game against the Grizzlies, and John Morant, Luka Doncic, two of my favorite players to watch. And Luka came out and had like 21 points in the first quarter, and like several assists. Ja was struggling a little bit, but he came along.
Ja, Paulo Banchero, one of the
he's been
like 5 or 6 guys to score 20 points in their first 6 games of their career. So there's so much. The league's in a good place right now. They say that a lot, but I remember vividly some of the years where it didn't feel like good basketball. And then you get some of the guys who missed like whole seasons in the last few years. Zion, who's hurt again, but then Lillard missed a lot of time. Kawhi's kind of taking some time to get back. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray for Denver. You get these guys back, and it just makes for a really, really interesting product, a really good league to watch. A lot of fun. So, kudos to the Hornets, Steve Clifford. Mitch Kupchak making the best out of some bad situations. Hopefully they can keep it going.
Hopefully so. So the NBA's in a good spot. Hornets are looking better than expected. Things are starting to look up a little bit for the Carolina Panthers in terms of playing better. So finally have some things to be optimistic about in our sports world. So
it's a thin line between mediocrity and being a decent team in professional sports. Because they're all pros.
Yeah, they're all pros. So we're in our final minute right now. So we got the Cincinnati Bengals coming up with the Carolina Panthers this week. You got a prediction?
That will be competitive. They don't have Jamar Chase. They're playing Monday night, so it's sort of a short week for them. So we'll see. Score-wise, I think we can score 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then just, whatever the dude decides to do.
Right, like we said, we got a competent offense now. We look like a professional football team.
28-24 Panthers.
Okay, I'm gonna say the same score, but I'm gonna flip it and say the Bengals are gonna win.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. I'm pulling for the Panthers.
I'm a Joe Burrow fan. So.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody, thanks so much for listening again. We'll be back again next week, every Friday at 7:30 a.m. on WDRB Media, and you can catch the video on YouTube anytime starting at 8 o'clock on Friday mornings on YouTube.com/CLT Live. So, thanks for checking it out. We'll be back soon.
All right, see y'all.
All right, later.
I'm